Hello ladies and gentlemen, well, Spider-Man Homecoming, probably the best Spider-Man movie since probably Spider-Man 2? Yeah, I'd say so. But of course no movie is a total work of art, so here is some good and some bad things. This was a great movie just to sort of get Spider-Man back on track after Sony derailed it. It's a little bit like Wonder Woman in that way, how DC just needed one good movie just to get back on track. This is what this movie needed to be with Spider-Man, and it was that. And weirdly enough, it got back on track not just because of some of the things they did, but kind of more so because of the things they didn't do. Spider-Man reuses a lot of tropes over and over throughout the movies, and this film carefully avoided pretty much the majority of them. One that stuck out with me was I expected Michael Keaton's Vulture to accidentally kill himself, as a lot of other Spider-Man villains do in the movies. And then we'd have sad Spider-Man going to the funeral of the guy he just killed, who was the father of the girl that he's in love with, and fortunately none of that happened. And thank God, because we've seen so much of that crap. I also kind of liked it that Aunt May, in the mid-credits scene, just sees him in his Spider-Man getup. Great, yeah, I got no problem with that. It always kind of frustrated me, Aunt May, even in the Sam Raimi movies, that she never figured out that he's Spider-Man, even though there's ample evidence, and they hinted at it a few times that maybe she kind of knows, but I'm totally behind her just knowing that he's Spider-Man, because the point is you wear the mask so that no one knows who you are, so they can't get to your family. But Peter Parker's family always seems to end up getting in trouble anyway, so at least if she knows he is Spider-Man, then she can take steps to protect herself. And also, it's totally different in this movie as well, because he's also connected to the Avengers now. He's not just going out there by himself. If he really gets in trouble out doing his crime fighting, she can always call Tony Stark or Captain America or whatever, and they can go and help him. So it's not quite the same as in the Sam Raimi movies where he could die. He's got backup here. So I like that. Now he can just be open with Aunt May about who he is. I did not like that chick at the end who goes, "Oh, my friends call me MJ." No, they don't. I hope no one ever calls you that because you don't look anything like MJ, and I frankly didn't like your character at all. You were really bloody annoying throughout the whole movie, and I was actually wondering if maybe she was some kind of mole for the bad guy, or perhaps that character who sort of camouflages and shapeshift and changes, like Mysterio, Mystique, Phantasm, I don't know, whatever his name is. I'm more of a DC guy, I don't know all the Marvel names. I thought maybe she was him getting intel on Spider-Man for Vulture or something, because she kept popping up everywhere he was, but apparently it was just for that bit at the end where she's like, "Oh, my friends call me MJ." No, they don't. Don't want you to be MJ. You can bugger off. I was actually a little bit disappointed that there wasn't a bit more high school shenanigans going on. Yeah, I know there was quite a lot, but when I heard they were kind of basing this movie off Ferris Bueller in a bit, they even have him like swing past the TV screen showing the movie at one point, which is a little too on the nose. But I love Ferris Bueller, so I would have liked to see more scenes of that where he's like racing to get back to the test and he's having to deal with like high school stuff. I wanted a bit more of that, but hey, guess you can't have everything, right? But what was up with the Indian Flash Thompson? Why do we have an Indian version of Topher Grace playing Flash Thompson, who is eventually going to become Venom, when we already know that Tom Hardy is going to play the Eddie Brock version of Venom? Yes, I know they're different versions of Venom, but it's confusing to me. It's confusing, although it was funny how we kept calling Peter Parker Penis Parker. That was really good. I especially liked it when he had everyone chanting that. That was good. But too many Venoms, it kind of confuses me a bit. Couldn't you make him someone else? But apart from that, I didn't really have that much of a problem with this movie. I frankly quite enjoyed it. In fact, here's some more good stuff. I really liked that Vulture wasn't trying to just blow up the world again. How many times have we said about different comic book movies? I remember saying this last, I think it was with Suicide Squad, of like, you don't have to have the world almost blow up in every single movie. You can always have a lower level thing. We always said that's what we liked about the Daredevil Netflix, is it's more street level. I love that they kept Spider-Man street level. I love that Vulture wasn't shooting a big laser into the air. So sick of that laser going in the air. It's in so many movies. Instead, he's just selling weapons. And sure, they were fancy alien weapons, but weapons nonetheless. That's great. Totally love that. I also could really kind of understand and relate, especially that first scene where you see where he's the good guy and he's doing the cleanup of the whole operations, and they're like, "Nope, you're out. We're bringing in damage control to do this instead." And he's like, hang on, I've hired all these trucks, I've got all these extra guys on the job, I need to turn a profit to pay all that off, otherwise my business is going to go kaput. I actually know someone who lost a small business because of that very thing happening. He had to invest so much in this one project, and the guy screwed him over at the end, and he just lost it all, and his whole company just went belly up after that. So I can totally understand why this guy, after that happening, would get that truckload of one book. You remember the one guy at the beginning pulls up with the ute with the stuff? It's like, oh, we forgot to hand this over. And he's like, no, we're not handing that over. We're going to sell it. Because he's got to cover his losses, right? He's still got a family to provide for. He's a little bit like Walter White in Breaking Bad. You can kind of understand what he's doing. And he was also a good guy. You know, he didn't want to kill Peter because he saved his daughter's life at the Washington Monument. And then in the end credit scene, he doesn't give up the name of Peter Parker to the other criminals because Peter Parker saved his life at the end. I like that. There's a bit more to his character than that. So I could see him becoming an ally of Spider-Man maybe later down the line, if their interests ally and they've both kind of saved each other's lives at various points. Well, in a way, he saved Peter's life. And also, I was genuinely surprised when Spider-Man shows up for that dance, opens the door, and it's Michael Keaton. I totally did not see that coming at all. I was thrown off by, that his daughter is black or half black. Yeah, that threw me off. I never expected Michael Keaton would be the dad, because of the mixed race thing. So, although Disney, very politically incorrect, that the academic decathlon team only had one Asian person. That's not accurate. Should have been way more Asians in that team. So yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, I really enjoyed it, really liked it. I was a bit surprised they didn't throw in much of his Spidey sense. Maybe they're going to save that for a later movie where he's going to sort of level up in his powers. There's a few moments in that Civil War fight where like he detects stuff coming at him from behind, so I guess he's got a bit of a Spidey sense, but we didn't really see it demonstrated in this movie in a big way. So guys, if you want to check out other stuff from me, you can click on any of the stuff you see on the screen right here, or if you want to check out my other channel, Bandit Strategy, about history and life hacks, click on the link in the description. That's over at VidMe. So I'm Bandit, this is Bandit Incorporated. Until next time, I will see you guys in the comments.